States commenced. Lincoln believed that there was something important, something that transcended the immediacy of the conflict between the northern and southern states. Something was going on, and God was somehow involved in all of that. He would return to that idea again, most memorably in his second inaugural address and at Gettysburg 3 years later. Speeches. We might not know how God is involved, but God is involved. He was one of our most religiously sensitive presidents. He struggled with big theological questions. In the middle of the Civil War, he wondered out loud about the will of God in the war, and one time wrote a personal reflection that only came to light after his death. He wrote, "The will of God prevails. In great contests, each party claims to act in accordance with the will of God. Both may be and one must be wrong. In the present Civil War, it's quite possible that God's will is something different from the purpose of either party. I'm almost ready to say that God wills this contest and wills that it not end yet." Was America's defining moral and theological commitment, and he understood that radical notion that all are created equal to be rooted and grounded in the basic biblical notions that human beings are created in the image of God. It prompted him from the first time he saw it as a young man, a group of slaves shackled together to abhor slavery. Because Lincoln believed the Bible about the image of God in every person, he never doubted that slavery was treason to God's moral order, and thus to the essence of American politics. The Union, Lincoln therefore absolutely believed, had to be preserved, so that government by equals for equals could be shown to the world to be viable. At the dedication of the National Military Cemetery at Gettysburg, he elaborated by referring to a new birth of freedom. He said, "In giving freedom to the slave, we assure freedom to the free." Lincoln, like Jefferson, believed that liberty was a holy thing, that establishing, protecting, and defending it is what governments are for, and that there's something in the human heart that, in the words of Emma Lazarus on the Statue of Liberty, yearns to breathe free. With its roots in the first chapter of Genesis, that all people are created equal, that every man and woman created in God's own image is, therefore, endowed with unalienable rights. That's what he believed. The establishment of freedom, the guarantee and protection of freedom, is the great narrative Lincoln saw playing out in the nation. He understood what the price of freedom was, and the incredible sacrifice of human resources and human life that it required. At the dedication of a cemetery in Gettysburg, he concluded memorably by putting the nation's suffering and travail in the context of God's will for humans. He said in words that ring true in every generation, "We shall nobly save or meanly lose the last best hope of earth." That's what we do on the 4th of July, isn't it? In the midst of picnics and cookouts and baseball and fireworks, in our minds we walk through our history, our founding, those moments of travail that our nation has gone through, our struggles and battles, our long efforts to establish and protect and defend and extend freedom. We stop and ponder 1776 and 9/11, the Constitution, Gettysburg, Omaha Beach, Iwo Jima. We ponder freedom, Selma and Hattiesburg and Birmingham, the Voting Rights Act, the long narratives of freedom. Loving personal identification with one's own land has never been a breeder of arrogant nationalism. Indeed, a person's love for his or her own land can be the basis of respect for other people's love of their land. Just as only those who have convictions know the meaning of tolerance, so none can assess at right value the land loves of other people, except those who know and deeply love their own. So let us wonder about this nation this week in our minds. Give God thanks for its history, its long commitment to freedom, its willingness to suffer and sacrifice in order that people might be free. And let us give God, the Lord of all nations, our thanks for this nation, for all of us.